you more on that as far as this act, which is now being considered an act of terrorism. What happened in New Orleans tragedy is the FBI has confirmed that there was an ISIS flag that was said to be found on the vehicle involved in the attack. ISIS flag found on the vehicle, as the FBI is still probing a possible terror link. However, the suspect in the New Year's Day tragedy in the U.S. has been identified as 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, who is a U.S. citizen from Texas. Authorities discovered ISIS flag on the vehicle involved in the incident. The FBI is also working to determine the suspect's affiliations with the terror group as the investigation has unfolded. Now, when it comes to the investigation that has been taking place, we'll get you more updates as the first reaction that is now coming in from the U.S. President Joe Biden himself. But let's get in a word from Shinjoy, who is joining in. So, Shinjoy, the suspect who was driving a Ford F-150 electric pickup truck that bore the flag of the Islamic State, that all that has been found till now as the investigation is underway. Can it be linked to an attack of terrorism?
Yes, certainly. First of all, you have the flag. The flag is really the smoking gun. But besides that, the Americans have even initially called it a terror attack. And today, President Biden has said that this is something that is being investigated. First of all, if there is an ISIS flag and the fact that there is stuff in the social media that he has put out, it's very clear that he's an ISIS supporter. Number one, the big question is he acting alone? Or did he act alone? Or did he get help from other people? So that's the important thing. Assuming it's the second, then, of course, the FBI will have serious work to do to look for the other people involved. The other worry is the possibility of copycat attacks. Already, there was one just a few days ago in Germany, something similar, though not exactly a terror attack. And this follows that German incident. Now, could there be another one? This is something the investigating agencies, the security agencies will all have to be worried about. But President Biden has made it very clear that there is an investigation on to ensure that it is possible to know whether he was acting alone. Well,
this is all part of the investigation being conducted by the FBI, but however, the suspect in this case has been identified. And as Shinjoy said, let's get you the first reaction that is now coming in from the U.S. President Joe Biden himself, who has confirmed a potential ISIS link in the recent New Orleans attack. As he has emphasized, a thorough investigation is underway to identify if there were any affiliations with the terror group. Biden, who has also vowed decisive action as the probe has been progressing.
The FBI is leading the investigation to determine what happened, why it happened, and whether there was any continuing threat to public safety. The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack. Possible explosives were found in the vehicle as well, and more explosives were found nearby.
Well, Shinjoy, are there any links that are being possibly found on the Las Vegas and also this attack that has now happened simultaneously when being reported on the day when the world was celebrating, ringing in the new year? However, there has been a car that blew up right in front of Donald Trump's hotel. And now we are getting to know as far as this attack in New Orleans that has also happened. Is there a possible link?
Well, there may be a link. We don't know as yet. So as President Biden said, it's being investigated. Now, everything is possible. And the point here is that if there is a link, then this is a wider conspiracy. And if it's a wider conspiracy, then there could be even more attacks. That's something that the American security agencies will have to be worried about. Most importantly is the fact that this person, the Texan, was clearly ISIS supporter. He believed in the ISIS ideologies. He was carrying an ISIS flag. He had put out stuff in the social media supporting ISIS, and yet it hadn't really caught the eye of the security agencies. But now, of course, the incident has happened, but it's very important to investigate through his links if there are others involved in the attack, if there were people who were supporting him, if he was only part of a wider conspiracy. And if it is part of a wider conspiracy, very clearly, the American security agencies have a lot more work to do.
All right. The investigation that has been taking place, and President Biden also, the first reaction that has now come in. However, when it comes to this tragedy that is now concerned, it has left several casualties behind, around 10 dead that have been reported, over 30 of them injured. And the very video of the moment of the tragedy that has also been accessed, the very moment that the truck plowed into the crowd in New Orleans, as the accused is seen driving around a squad car. Initially on camera, as you can see, the car plows into the crowd at New Orleans. Well, this is that chilling video that shows the very moment a truck that plowed into the crowd in New Orleans, leaving at least 10 people dead and over 30 injured, as the accused, who's been identified as Shamsuddin Jabbar, was seen initially driving around a squad car before executing the attack. The investigation continues, with the authorities examining potential links with the ISIS as well, and the accused that can be seen as he continues to speed past when it comes to hitting the people on his way. And this is that very chilling moment that has been accessed on video, where it shows that the truck that plowed into a crowd, the revelers there who was enjoying and celebrating the new year. Let's, in the meantime, get you more details of this suspect who has now been identified. 42-year-old suspect is a citizen of the United States. His name is Shamsuddin Jabbar, and he is a U.S. citizen, hails from Texas. This is the initial details that we are picking up. However, if he has any affiliation to the terror group or any network, Shinjoy, that is a part of the investigation that continues. But ISIS flag, according to the FBI, was found on the vehicle that was part of this incident.
Well, that's bad enough. Here you are driving your pickup truck into a crowd of people enjoying themselves on New Year's Day, and you have an ISIS flag in your car. Now, that's bad enough. That's really the smoking gun. It's very clear you believe in the ISIS, you support the ISIS. The only thing we need to know is that, are you not just a supporter of ISIS, but are you working for ISIS? Are you part of an ISIS cell? If you're part of an ISIS cell, that's even worse. And therefore, you will have other supporters, other people working with you. And these are people, assuming, of course, you're part of that cell, who have to be found, who have to be arrested, who have to be punished.
Well, he was driving a pickup truck, which the FBI says appears to be rented, and they are working to confirm how he came into the possession of the truck. However, ISIS flag that was located in the truck, and the FBI is determining if the suspect had any association or affiliation with the terror organization. As more information that is now coming across as far as the suspect who has been identified, said to be hailing from Texas. However, it remains to be seen if he has any certain affiliations with when it comes to the terror group or the flag that the FBI says was found on that pickup truck, and what exactly were the motive and the intention of this suspect who has now been identified. Let's get another breaking update that in the meantime that has been coming in. But one more question, Shinjoy, because coming on the very first day of the new year, and this attack that has now been reported, as you were saying, it is something similar that what happened in the German Christmas market attack as well. When it comes to the use of a car, and it is known to plow or to mow down people or crush people that come in its way, in a way seems to be a new tactic that has now, or this approach that has now been taken up by such individuals.
Yes, in the German case, it may not have been a terror attack. It could have just been a very sick man who was responsible for it. And what we hear is the Saudi authorities had warned the Germans that there is a guy who could create trouble. So it has to be said that whatever his faults were, he wasn't a terrorist in that sense. But here is a man, Shamsuddin, who was clearly a supporter of a terrorist organization. So that does make him a terrorist. And it's very clear that he was a supporter of ISIS. Now, it has to be now investigated. Who were the other people who were supporting him, working with him, and those kind of things have to be found out, assuming he was part of an ISIS cell.